What's up, YouTube? This is Jonathan Irizarry. I'm back at you. I said I was going to continue to make some of these videos and just talk about things. So today I want to talk about how I started in bodybuilding. Somebody asked me that question the other day, and I was like, that's actually a really good question because my route to bodybuilding is weird, and what I mean by that is that things that happened in my life kind of caused it to happen. Because say if these little instances that happened didn't, then I guess I wouldn't know exactly where I'd be right now. So let me take you way back when I was in middle school. Okay. When I was in middle school, I played all kinds of sports: basketball, football, I did track and field and everything. And I was very, athletic. And that was my life. I went to school and I played sports. I loved it. Well, anyways, I grew up in a military, kind of household. My dad was in the military, Army, 20 years, served in the Army for 20 years, retired. And so you can imagine he was pretty strict, very strict man growing up. And my mom also served in the Army as well. She actually ended up getting out only because, she had my sister and I. But I'll just get straight to the point. Well, basically one summer, after my freshman year, my cousin and I went to go get some fast food in the middle of the night, but we took my mom's car. That was the no-no right there. So lo and behold, I got in trouble with my dad. All right, normally I'd get grounded, be like, Jonathan, you're grounded for 3 months. Shit, being grounded in your room, it's like a prison cell. I hate it. So, but no, he took it a step further this time. He told me basically that he's like, you can't play any sports this year, or namely football. You can't play football this coming year. And I was like, you've got to be freaking kidding me. Are you serious? He was dead serious. You're not playing football. Man, that hurt. I was like, I don't even know what I'm going to do, because from that point on, I was out of, playing, basketball with school. I just wasn't tall enough in order to really make the team. My football was really my life, and if you would have known me back in the day, you would have known that I was pretty decent. I wasn't bad at all. I started on, first team, etc. And I used my quickness and strength to my advantage, and that's how I enabled myself to be pretty decent. Needless to say, I'm actually glad my dad did this, and I'm glad that my dad was the way he was with me and my sister, because it made me, into the man that I am today. Like I'm not a troubled child, never was a troubled child, and it pretty much forced me to, how would you say it, to just, earn everything that I've got, and to work for it, because honestly, you ask him for $1, he ain't giving it to you. That's one of those things I'd have to be like, run to my mom, be like, Mom, Dad's being mean. But I love them both, and I love my dad, I love my mom for raising me, the way they did, because again, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. I'm at today without them treating me that way. So the following year came up, and I was like, man, no football, just clueless. Well, I happened to be walking outside, during one of the change periods, and a friend of mine was like, man, there's this one hot chick that's over there playing tennis, dude. Let's join the tennis team. And I was like, okay, let's do that. My dad never said I couldn't play tennis, so I was like, fuck it, let's go. Well, anyways, we joined the class, dude, and she freaking drops out. So I'm like, what was the point of this? But when you go out there and you start playing, man, I actually learned to really love the game. Because tennis is hard. It's probably one of the hardest sports I've ever played. Matter of fact, it is the hardest sport I've played. And that's what I loved about it. It was another challenge for me. Sorry, man. I really need a haircut. This beard is getting out of control, and so is this mohawk. It's getting taken care of tomorrow, I promise. But anyways, it was another challenge. And I had to start at the bottom because I was garbage. I'd go out there, be hitting home runs and shit over the fence. And every time you hit a ball over the fence, you had to go get it. So you didn't want to hit a ball over the fence. Needless to say, by the end of that school year, I worked my way up to be #1 on the team. Now, that was a pretty big feat because being a person that never played, that just showed, my athletic ability. And during that time period, I was like, I needed to be a lot lighter and quicker on my feet to play tennis. So, I started kind of researching nutrition and whatnot and fixing my eating habits as, changing them because I needed to, because I had to drop a little bit of weight. And it helped out, it helped out a lot. I ended up dropping like about 30, I remember I dropped about 30 pounds that semester. But during the summertime, man, I went balls to the walls. I just went all out. My mom would drop me off over at Bowie High School, and I would play. If nobody was there, I'd play against the wall, which, what I mean by that is you just hit the ball against the wall. There's a white line that pretty much shows exactly where the net would be if you were doing it, and it just comes back to you keep hitting. And I would practice my serve. Every like about 3 or 4, 5 nights a week, I would actually run 6 miles every night. Yes, run 6 miles. And I loved it. Like, I fell in love with getting in shape. But whenever the next semester came, I mean, my endurance was out of control. Like, nobody can touch me. Well, again, I stayed number one all the way through my junior year, and then came my senior year. Is whenever, I had a fallout with the coach. He was another hard ass, but he was a hard ass in a sense that, he would bullshit me for stupid stuff and make me do like crazy, ridiculous things, like make me run and do 20 suicides for absolutely no reason because I didn't go to the voluntary workouts during the summer. Voluntary. I was on vacation. They were voluntary. Why the fuck would I need to come? Yeah, 20 suicides before I can even play my first match. So him and I got into it, and at the same time, I actually hurt my shoulder. And this is whenever I tore my labrum. I've never gotten it fixed. So, I hurt my shoulder, and I was just like, man, I can't serve. So I pretty much, I finished the semester off, and in the last semester of school, I got off the team because I was worthless to the team at this point, not being able to serve. And so I need another habit to really fill in that void. And this is when basically like whenever everything just happened. So I was at the gym one day, walking out with my shirt off, just being a show off. At this point, I had nice shredded abs, 8-pack, whatever. And a competitor came by and was like, hey man, he's like, have you ever thought about, being a competitive bodybuilder? No, I haven't. I don't even know what that is. He's like, dude, you should go to this show. It's the Europa show over here in Arlington. It's not far away. Just check it out, and choose from there. So I decided to go. I took him up on his offer. I actually snuck in that. I didn't pay. I snuck in. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. I didn't have any money. I just had my brother drop me off. But, while the show was going on, I was collecting all these samples and stuff, and the amateurs went on stage, and what I noticed about them is that they weren't overly huge guys, but they were just shredded. And I was like, man, this seems pretty doable. These guys aren't big. They look good. When the pros got on stage, I was like, at the time, see, the thing is that your mentality changes over time, especially when you get into bodybuilding. So at that time, man, I was like, when the pros got on stage, I was like, wow, this is amazing, but at the same time, it's disgusting. Like, why would anybody want to look like this? So, but I like the amateur level. So I was like, man, I'm going to go and start training for something. So time went on, a few months passed by. I started kind of gaining some weight back up again because I had to start eating in a different way to gain weight for bodybuilding. So my first supplement actually was muscle milk. I fucking love this shit. And it actually helped a lot. No lie, it helped a lot. I gained like 20, 30 pounds in lean because my body was I kind of was starving myself. It needed to grow. So as soon as I started feeding my body and and getting into the weight training and training really hard, my body just responded really well. So and then a show came up. And I don't know if you guys ever seen any of the Ronnie Coleman videos, but if you did, there's that little guy in his video. His name is Robert Lee. He's the one that usually is counting his reps and putting his weight on him. Well, he actually trained at my gym, and he was the first person to come up to me and was like, dude, you should do that show. It's the Ronnie Coleman Classic. It's coming up in a few months. And I was like, man, I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm ready for this. He's like, do it. If you're always gonna just tell yourself that you're gonna do something you don't, you're always gonna be a quitter. So I was like, man, fuck this. I'm not a quitter. And that changed my life right there. I mean, the first guy that came up to me changed my life, but he really changed my life. He's like, man, go up to Metroflex over here in Arlington. It's right down the road. Talk to Brian Dobson, who's the owner of the gym, and we're gonna go up there together, and we're gonna help you with your posing. You're gonna sign up for the show. I was like, well, shit, okay. So he kind of helped me out with my diet and stuff, and it was pretty much some shit that I would never in my life ever tell anybody to do. It was so boring and bland and disgusting, and I'm sitting here gagging on shakes and stuff, and I'm like, shit, dude, like, how does he do this? Telling me to eat like a lot of protein, unnecessary amount, and and I learned because I was like, I don't want to do this, so I started studying, and that's where my knowledge started coming about. But I went to Metroflex like once or twice a week. This guy named Randy, which he actually owns the Metroflex of Fort Worth now, and Brian and Lee would help me with my posing. They'd help me a couple nights a week. They'd take time out of their day and do this for me, and I was forever grateful. I believe that. And I did the show. 16 years old, I got 4th out of 5th place. That alone just made me it gave me more fire. And I was like, man, I gotta really step my game up. And from that on, I was just hooked. I was hooked from that point on. And basically my competition history from that point, I did the Ronnie Coleman again the following year. I got 2nd place this time. I hate losing. So I did the Europa later on in the year and actually won. So that was my first win, my first win that I got, as a competitor. And, you guys know what my competitive history is. The rest is history. But, I mean, that was how I started bodybuilding. A weird story. And, again, like you see at the beginning, these little kind of tiny things needed to happen in order for me to get there. Because had they not, only God knows where I'd be right now. But keep asking me questions, guys. I like this stuff. This is fun. And if you have any other stuff that you want me to talk about, questions, I'll do some Q&As. I'll be more than happy to do that. Just put them in the comments below or write me some PMs, and I'll put them to action. But I want to give a shout out to everybody. Simply Fit Meals over here in North Dallas area. If you're here in the DFW, check them out. simplyfitmeals.com. I actually like to collect a lot of them. I'll get them like 4, 5, 6 meals out of their stores just for the convenience factor of it, and they freaking taste amazing. And they kind of give me some ideas to do with my own recipes as well. So check those out. The owner of it is Chris Sanchez. Also, I want to give a shout out to Evogen Nutrition, my sponsor. Thank you, Hani, for all the nice gear. And I got my sweater over there. He gave us a full sweatshirt. And the blue shoes that you guys just saw in my last leg video, that's Evogen brand right there, baby. Anyways, I appreciate everybody. Again, follow it, like my page, subscribe my page, or like the video, I'm sorry. Subscribe to my page, and check out all my other stuff, my Facebook, my Instagram, etc. Just, follow my journey, guys. Anyways, until next time, peace out.